Hi, this is Lori Jonas. I'm designing for Robin's Nest. This is my April project, and I am just gonna add some more texture to this page. This is just random ink spots that I used on my art journaling page. And so I'm gonna take some gesso. I'm just gonna put some in random spots like that. I'm going to take my roller, as you've seen many people do, and I'm just going to thin this down a bit just to add it some textures, and then when it dries I can still see the bottom of what was added, and then I can be able to draw on it. And you'll be able to see it, but still see all this yummy texture on the bottom. And I like this. This is a very thin gesso. If you have like Winsor Newton, which is my favorite, but it's a thick gesso. So, and it is my favorite. And when I'm done this, I'm going to buy some more of that. But this is very thin. I'm going to use what I have. But I do suggest the Winsor Newton. I love it. It's very chucky and it helps a lot. And so you can still see the texture in the background, but I'm gonna just take my tissue and dab a little off too, so that some of the color can really pop through, but not be as intense as it was. So I'm just liking that. Okay. Since it's April and summer's, summer's not coming just yet, but I was thinking I wanted to do some teapots. And I'm really thinking about what I would like to do. I'm thinking maybe a teapot come out over here, teapot there. So let's get this started with my pen. Always losing something. And so I'm thinking maybe like a teapot coming off the edge here, maybe a bit bigger, just a pot. And I'm only roughing it here. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to be using the paper like I like to do. And so here's the teapot. I want that a little longer. I want this to come out a bit. There we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And then kind of a cup. Here's like little drops coming down into the cup. Teacup. I'm going to make sure these drops have like a shape to them. So does this, you know, you want to be able to see the opening. And here it is, coming off the top, out of the corner and down into the... I'm just going to keep this going until it looks the way I want it. Okay, so I have certain papers that I use for April. Now how pretty that is. So I'm going to use this one. This one says special delivery. Use this one. I love this and I love this back, so I might just use both of those. It's just putting it aside so you can see the different stuff. This is cute. I like the plaid. And this is cute. And they're all cute. Vellum. Can you pick? Love this paper. I'm gonna use that. So let's use those papers right now. And I'm thinking about adding little small teacups in the back, like for the background. Some of my stuff down. I really like this color. It has a lot of textures. I think it'll look great on here. And so how I do this, I'm going to show you a little technique of how I get the paper to match. Where'd it go? Stop. I have some graphite. I got it on clearance at Michael's. And I'm just going to pull out a sheet because I want it to match up with... You know what, I might just cut a sheet because I only want half a sheet. So I'm going to cut a sheet. That's about all I want, so... So I put the graphite facing down onto the cardstock here. So the graphite is facing down on the cardstock. And I just go over what I drawed in exactly the way I want it. not very dark, but it's on here. Now I'll just go over what I see. I guess that's a lighter graphite. Now I'm just cutting it off. You don't have to go over it. I just want to make sure that I can see it well when I'm cutting. Okay. So now I'm going to just put it on here. And then I'm going to glue it on. Make sure this is all the way where I want it. That goes past the paper. That is my Mod Podge. I usually use matte. Now what I like to use with my Mod Podge are usually these cheap brushes right here. And I'm just gonna brush it on to where I want it. Push this over. Make sure I clip this off because I don't want that sticking. I always like to take the air bubbles out. I use my roller sometimes and just make sure it's all stuck well. Then I just go along the sides and just shape it to the paper, because we want the whole thing to stick. If there's any extra, you can always just go and trim it after. I like the design. I'm just trimming it as close as I can to the paper because I don't want it to bubble up. You know, on edges, you gotta make sure you get the edges really well. So I'm just gonna go over the edges real quick again. Make sure this is done really nicely, and take my clean brayer and just make sure all the bubbles are out. So this inside piece here is probably going to be solid black. And make sure I can highlight these for now. Okay, I have a shape of a cup. And I'm probably going to paint this part black. Okay, I just traced over this cup. And I'm going to need this, but I'm not going to need this. I just went to an expo, so things are kind of not where they should be. So I'm just trying to place things where they should be. Okay. My cup. I just put my graphite underneath the paper again, lift it up, and here's my cup. So I'm just going to trace over to make sure it's the way I want it. I have it like this, and then over like this, and then I have a little loop here for my cup, and then like that. And then of course like a ring. There's just like a little bottom to the cup. And so what I'm going to do, and you've seen me do this a couple times, I'm going to take this paper, I'm just gonna get a smaller scissors. I'm gonna cut this part out because I want to okay. Then I'm going to put my cup right here. It's a little different here, but that's okay. I'm just going to add probably just a tiny bit more of white paint around the cup. And that's blue. Don't want blue. There's the white. I'm just going to make it look so that it's where I want it to be. And I want it a little lighter around the cup anyway, so that it will stand out. Whatever I paint it will stand out a little better. And so just take a little white and just go around your drawing and make sure it's the way you want it. And add your cup. This is my Mod Podge. I want this a little bit more of a round. And this is going to be a little bit more like that. I'm just going to cover this whole thing because I need to redraw it. So I want it to be thin and right over. This one I want that to be matte, but this one I want to be able to see. I want it kind of shiny and looking a little different because it's a cup. Okay. Now, I drew a bunch of small cups already, if I can find it. And then I printed them out. And so I'm going to give you a copy of this. This is just my drawings. And I just want to add now, do I want to add any more? I just thought it'd be cute to add different. I drew them and then I just printed them out on the computer so I can give you a copy. If I can get it out on the computer in time. And so I just wanted a couple of cups, different sizes, you know, kind of next to it. Now I think the smaller it is, the easier it is to cut. And draw. And so I always like to draw my stuff and then scan it in the computer so that I can use it over and over. So if ever I needed small cups, I have this on PDF, and so I don't have to keep redrawing it over and over. Okay. So there we go. We'll have like 3 cups there. All kind of one on top of each other, kind of like that. And I always go over it, and sometimes, you know, I start out like one of my drawings, you know, and then it ends up being something totally different because I change it. So it just depends. I just like 3, you know, 1 big one, 3 little ones. It's just what I like. Okay. And doing that just puts a little texture over it. So it's a little textured when you rub it over the paper towel over it. And so make sure there's no bubbles. Go over it with your finger. If you don't, go over it with your brayer. I just like to do it with my finger because sometimes the brayer will tear this light, you know. So I just gotta wait until that dries. It dries real quickly. Then I'll go over it with my pencil. So like I said, these are just cups that I've drawn. You could draw your own cups if you want. I just cut them out. I printed them out. I save some of my drawings and use them for PDFs, or if I'm trying to, I'm thinking I might want a little more drink in there. Might need that brown. What's that brown? We'll see. So this. And so now, like, we need to, I'm going to start drawing this. I'm thinking I want it, I love this color right here. It's from Golden. It's called teal. And I'm thinking I want to make this teapot teal, and then the center of it a little drier. Where did my, oh, there's just so many things. Yeah, that's my little palette that I use. And I want it to stretch it as much as I can so that I can still see the paper underneath it. That's important to me. That's why I like to use scrap paper, so I could see the design underneath it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of this darker blue. It's called Armoring. I can never. Arming. It's probably something totally different. And I'm just going to highlight the edges. And I like to rub the highlights in. Just rub it so that the edges are rough. kind of like shadowy. And I'm going to put this kind of blue. It's got blue stuff in it. And I'm going to kind of dab it with my brush to make it a little lighter. And the same here, I just want it a little darker. Not too much, but just a little bit. I'm just making it so that you could still see the inside, but it's still shaded in different spots. See how nice that looks? I think so, anyway. Okay, so I like that teapot. Now I'm gonna come over here and just accent the cups. They're real easy to draw. Just draw the shape of the cup and then little lines. You know, if you decide the cup's too small, this is a good time to expand it. Or if you don't like all the details and you want it a little more simple, like I'm probably just going to add some circles here and dots, but not really, you know, the things in the middle. You can make it your own. Okay. And even these, if you wanted to add some circles on these. You know, and lines and circles so they all just match. And then this is the plate. You know what, I might not even want this plate on there. I'm thinking I'm gonna just tear it right off. If you don't like it, it's okay. It's mixed media. You can just fix it the way you want it. There you go. Just give it some texture. There you go. This isn't on all the way. Now it's just a couple of cups. I might just add one more right here. I don't know. We'll see. I'll just paint it. Okay. I think I'm going to make it like the same type of cup where it kind of goes like that and then comes down. See how you can change it all so it only has like a smaller opening. And I'm just going to put that opening white so I can change it. Or pink. Let's make this cup pink. See how I said you can draw stuff and then change it after. I'm just trying to get around the edges. And right here, because this is part of the cup. And up here, that's part of the cup. We're going to do the same down here. Just going to make the cup come down like that. And this. So many ways you could change a cup. Just gonna make some circles and then dab them so they're kind of messy looking. That's the way I like it. And dab it so it's messy looking. And even like this, I can make different holes so it's messy looking. There's little dots in the middle. And some highlights here. Okay. Now I think I'm going to add a little bit of blue. Oh, that's green. A little bit of green, pink and green. Gotta love pink and green. Okay. And these cups I just might make plain. Like I'm not quite sure. And I do want to add circles in here, so that they could see that there's circles inside circles. And I always like to make sure you can see. The cup. Go. It needs a little white to it. Because that's really light. Where's my white? Right here. Like even here. Like some highlights to it. This needs some like rainbow on. go. I'm liking that cup now. It's good to have highlights. There we go. Let's wink up. I think I'm going to add a little turquoise in the center because it all needs to blend in together. So you see, it ends up being something totally different than what you started out with, and that's okay. But you could still see all the pink in there and that it started out with. And I'm going to start in little bits of turquoise in each cup. This one I'll do the lines. And the lid, the handle. I like that. The handle. Okay. Now I'm going to make circles. So I would like to add a little bit of highlights in the cup with red like that along the lid, so you can see that it is open. Now I'm going to get the pink again, because I want them all to kind of look somewhat alike. And I encourage you, when you draw, and it's your own drawing, that you do scan it in, because you can use it again the way I just did with this, you know. You can enlarge them when you have Photoshop, and you can make them smaller, and you can add them on posters, and there's so many good things. I have Photoshop elements, and so again. I like that. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my workable fixative and I'm going to spray it, and then I'll come back. Now we're just going to put some along. Mm-hmm.